All right. Welcome back.
Here he is. Here we go.
There you go.
Once again.
Back live and direct. How you feeling this week, Bruce?
All right. Here on 72.9 The Voice on Chaos Conversation. We back, we black. Let's get back to the business, man. The business with all this crazy COVID-19 going on right now, man. Just message.
Yeah, man. Looks like the numbers are getting worse day by day.
They are, man. I mean, everybody's still out here, going to the matter of fact, what's crazy? There was this sports bar just around the corner over there by where Family Dollar is, man. And there's folks still going in there, man. They got masks on and everything, but it's like
talking about near your house.
They're indoors. And I'm like, man, that's not a place to be right now. I mean, I still go out and eat, but I do. Only time I'll sit down somewhere to eat inside is if there's only 2 people in there or less. And if I see people start to come in, I go up front, I get my to-go box, and I'm out.
No, I don't sit inside at all. That's out of the question for me.
I mean, it's like places where it's big enough, and I'm like, all right, 2 people in there, but that's it. There's nobody within 16 feet of me. I'll be having my daggum my virus spray too, man. I don't care if somebody sneezes or cough, I'm out of there. employee or customer.
Yeah, man, it's crazy, man. I mean, the numbers are getting worse. People are, dying, and it's getting crazy. Meanwhile, Zuckerberg,
what's even crazy than that?
The Zuck tells his Facebook staff that they they don't have to have a vaccine before they return to work. Now, isn't that crazy?
Shoot. That's hocus pocus. I like a damn troll. I be telling y'all, man, I don't care what nobody say. I'm gonna have my face mask. I mean, I got about 4 or 5 made face masks. I wash them joints every day, and I carry that. I carry the hand sanitizer. I carry that virus spray. I be on lockdown, man. I mean, but what's crazy? We don't stay on this topic too long, but there's some groups I'm a part of on social media about, what is it called? Mature groups and, about relationships and stuff. And there's a bunch of women. Check it out. There's a bunch of women, bunch of y'all ladies out here complaining that your man ain't taking you out to eat no more. I'm like, really? Really? I don't know why.
Who are these ladies?
Y'all gonna see. I don't know why some women gonna sit there and complain about their man ain't taking them out to eat no more. It's obvious he's trying to look after y'all and the virus, so the virus going around, and the kids. For those of y'all who got kids to take with y'all, but appreciate the man's cooking if he does cook. Appreciate that. Or if he decides to bring some home to y'all, have it delivered. Be appreciative. Don't think he's trying to be cheap all the time. Change that mindset, man. Look at the time we living in. You know what I mean? Right. You can't just be one way, only way, because you high maintenance all the time. You know what? Stuff like that is crazy. That's all I know.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of crazy. A lot of stuff going on, but people have to make it work. The best way they can, That's the way I look at it.
Yeah. I'm just going to go ahead and we're going to jump into this first topic, man, because this topic right here it's that season too. It's that season. Because check it out. Right now, you got men and women. They've been together for a couple years. Some been together a couple months, and they ready. They ready for that question you pops, way back when, Franklin. However, here's one thing. Here's one funny thing about it. The ladies are ready for the man to pop the question. Is the man ready and prepared to pop that question? Because this is that season. They pop the question and they go out. And, what's it called? Spring and summertime going to be here before we know it. I mean, wintertime ain't got here yet, but the spring and summer's going to be here before you know it. So you want him to be engaged to you before all that, before all the other women start coming out here, trying to tease your man, even with this virus going around. They're going to be like them folks.
How are they teasing? How are they teasing?
they still in Florida, running around them two-piece bikinis. That's how.
Nah,
They
it's a little
still, they
cool.
still.
It's a little cooler. It's a little cooler now.
That's why I say they want the man to propose now. So then when the spring and the summer get here, the ladies are thinking, ain't no woman gonna be able to get my man because he's my fiance. I'm like, oh, so that's why some women want men to propose so early. You ain't gonna get married like next year, more than likely, but he proposes. However, he got a baggage of $50,000 in child support. You still gonna take his proposal, ladies? What you gonna do with that? Because with that question, that was a question that's lingering around on social media. And from my point of view, this is just me. I ain't never been engaged before. Ain't never been married before. But help me understand, Sam, if you think I'm wrong, and let's get your take, and we'll let the callers, dial in. We'll let the callers, state their opinion afterwards. But me, if a man has $50,000 in back child support, but he's showing he love you, he can do all the things you ask him to, cook, honest, love you, care for you, all that good stuff, protect you, he got a good job, whatever, but he got $50,000 and, he's behind $50K in child support. Do you still marry him, ladies? And my thing for y'all, again, this is just my opinion, the same, but in my opinion, I would accept his proposal. However, correct me if you think I'm wrong, Sam, correct, accept his proposal, but then let him know y'all ain't getting married until he shows you he has either a second job to pay off that 50, to go towards that 50,000, or you can help him start a business to make the money to go towards that 50,000 to catch up to it. If he's not showing you that he's willing to participate in doing that, then I would say go ahead and cut it off. Just be like, you know what? No, not now. Or we ain't getting married, until. Or you know what? If you ain't gonna work it all towards it, then guess what? Hi and bye. That's just my opinion of what I would advise a young lady who's in love with a man, who loves a man. He's there for her, she's there for him. But because correct me if I'm wrong, Sam, 150,000, play a factor in her pockets if you don't take care of it, and they got married.
Well, I don't want to look at it as a money or a figure. I'll just say that debt in any relationship is something you have to discuss before you decide to take on before you move on to the next step with someone. You have to talk about debt, because debt can delay things and delay the future you may have with a person because of that debt. Mm-hmm. Let's say it was gambling debt, right?
Oh, yeah.
And people had that may be a signal that you had, or a sign that person has some control problems or some other things that they need to, some impulse control problems that they need to work on. And you may not want to be along for that ride. Maybe some do. Maybe the positive outweighs the negative, but some people, that's their choice to say, you know what, you have this debt. Maybe that debt tells them that you're not able to handle your responsibilities in a timely manner, or your impulses are out of control and you don't know how to, you have no self-control essentially. So I don't think, it could be 5,000, it could be 10,000. I still think it needs to be brought up and discussed. So, that's my key take on that.
That's an interesting, good point. My point to all the people who were tuning in on that conversation and on the post was, marriage is for better or for worse, not just for the better. And my point to them was, if he's showing you that he's, working, taking care of, he can take care of you, but he has that baggage. My thing was, don't just dump him for the baggage. A lot of people say, the girl don't do it, or, hell no, don't bother no man like that. But people forget, sometimes, not all the time, sometimes you have women who will come to a man with baggage of hospital bills of 6 figures. Sometimes you got ladies who come to the table with 4 kids. That's not 50,000 all at once, but that's 50,000 over a period of about next probably 4 or 5 years, sometimes or more. But sometimes she comes in with credit card debt, student loan debt. That don't mean he got to kick her butt to the curb because she got debt along with her. No, it's, if you love her, she loves you. My thing is, work it out, like you said, negotiate, talk it over.
Well, I didn't say negotiate. I said it's something that needs to be discussed before going into a committed before going into a committed relationship, or it's the difference between dating and then moving to that next step. I think, but when you get ready to move, when you want to move to that next step, there's things that have to be discussed, and one of those things is finances. And
There
because
you go.
finances
There
are
you
huge.
go.
Think about it. That determines your future in terms of car loans. That determines your future in terms of homes or mortgage, your buying power.
Business
Where
loans.
do you live? Business loans. You
Yep.
know, whether you can afford to go
That's
on trips, once a year, or let's say once a quarter, whether you can, eat out once a week versus, maybe you can't. It determines a lot.
it does. It does. So I mean that was just one big post that was getting a lot of attention from all walks of life. I mean, there were people from it was a diverse, I say very diverse post. I mean, there was Hispanics, Asians, blacks, whites, everybody just commenting yay or nay. I mean, there was women standing up for the men saying, ladies, give him a chance, move forward, see the positive, see the good in him, and work. And like you said, if you're already committed and you knew it going in, then there's no reason you should let go now. But if you didn't know it until he proposed to you or something, it's like Sandra said, talk it over before you accept the proposal. But if you, to me, if he's showing you that he's trying to move forward of taking care of it, and he also is taking care of you, I say support him, but try to help him get a business up and start. Work with him towards a second job. Help him out a little bit. But if he's showing you that he's not even trying to participate or engage in, his child support, then yeah, that's a sign of let him go. But that's just to tackle that topic, man, because that topic there was not as touchy as, the other two we got coming. But that's just my opinion. That's just, the best I can tell y'all as far as, matter of fact, it's not just for the men. It's also for the women. If the women got the $50 baggage of, debt, fellas, that don't mean kick her to the curb. That means, work it out, give her at least a year to move towards it. Now, she's showing you she ain't trying to work towards it and, get it off the radar, because what's hers is yours. What's yours is going to be hers if you guys do decide to get married. So, yeah, just opinions, no facts
What
on
you
that.
say?
But
What's hers is hers, and what's yours is hers. Is that what you said?
no, I'm saying what's hers is yours, and what's yours is hers.
Nah, everything's hers. That's the way it works.
What you mean, man? If you get married, it is. If you get married, it is by
Nah,
law.
I'm just messing with you, man.
Yeah, man, by law. And it's jacked up law in this world, but that's just the way it is.
Nah,
So
it's too
yeah.
funny.
But with that being said, we're not going to stay on that topic for too long, because Sam, let them know about the next topic we have about what's been going on in the house and other places like that.
The house. Which house? What are we talking about?
Mm-hmm. Joe Biden's new house.
Well, I thought we were going to wait to the end of the show to talk about that.
Well, you were at the end of that show. Well, fine. Then we what we can save the
we'll hit
best
that
for
at the end
last.
of the show.
Nah. We can save the best for last. That ain't gonna be a problem, man. Because this other thing we're gonna talk about is what some of y'all should already have an idea of. You know what I mean? And that's this John Brown COVID-19. Going around, still growing, still I'm multiplying if you ask me. And some of y'all might lose your benefits in bed because of it. Some of y'all might have to come out the pockets a little bit more. Some of y'all some of y'all got to go ahead and do some sacrificing because of this. I mean, I'm not the only one going through it, even though I'm not committed to no one like that. There's still friends around like that, female friends around like that, Sam, and they still want a little they still need a little help with this and that. They still they're there for me, I'm there for them. However, it's to the point where you can't go out and eat out and do as much as you used to. You can't go to putt-putt. You can't go to the bowling alley. You can't go to the movies. You can't do a bunch of activity you used to do. So ladies, listen carefully, ladies. Listen carefully. Just because your man might cook for you, just because your man might sit back and watch some Netflix for you, just because your man might want to go to the daggone Redbox or something, does not mean he's being cheap at this time in life. Tell me if I'm wrong, Sam, because you can't go out like you used to, and it's affecting a lot of y'all. I can see it.
Yeah, I mean,
what do you think, Sam?
I think the virus is affecting a lot of people, and in many different ways, and it is affecting relationships and people's it's affecting relationships in all aspects. So I guess the one aspect we could talk about is um, the fact that a lot of people they can't get that time away. People are
Mm-hmm.
used to having maybe their me time, where that
Yep.
me time is going out with their friends to maybe go to run to a bar or a club, a lounge, wherever, or going to maybe play
Yep.
some ball or do some other stuff with people. But with the virus, people are taking it, some people are taking it serious. I know a few people are closer to me that have gotten COVID now. Um, so, I mean, people need to take it serious, but I think it is having a long-term effect, and it will have a long-term effect on, I mean, you just think about the way we've had to adjust and what we've had to do since COVID has become a bigger part of our lives, right? People washing their hands more, people wearing masks
Mm-hmm.
more, people um, changing their behavior and how they interact with other people, right? Think about how you interact with other people. When all this is, I'm not going to say over, in quotes, over, but when this is, when the cases are, 100th of what they are now, right? Let's say in our state, we set another record, 6,500 cases yesterday. When the cases are maybe like
Mm-hmm.
10 a day, 5 a day, and we have a treatment for it, and well, a treatment and a vaccine, will things go back to the way they were before, where people truly trust people? Will you trust to go
Mm-hmm.
in a bar or a lounge inside with no mask and be in a place with people
Massless.
drinking and talking? Yeah, will you be able to psychologically go in a place like that with no mask and function? So
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
I
Maybe, I
mean,
mean,
it's
we could do an experiment, but I think it's gonna be tough.
I ain't being no damn guinea pig, man. You get out of here with that mess. But no, man. See, you know what, fellas? Some of y'all ladies out there, you be so fast to say, oh, you a kisser. You got to have one in the morning. You got to have one at night. You got to have one here and there. I'm like, look, if your man being respectful enough, that don't mean he cheating just because he won't give you one. That ain't what that means. If he's being overcautious, he might be like some men out here, and ladies, fellas, same thing. Some ladies might be overcautious because of the work they do. If they're like, you know what, honey, no, if they, stop you, it's like, hey, sometimes that's called love respect with a K at the end of it. They try to put some respect on it, and they might be stopping you because, hey, I don't know, they do, Lyft or, some mess like that, Uber, or they're like me and they work out in the community a lot and they're around people like, hey, honey, whoa, stop you at the door. Let me go brush up. Let me go wash up first. And don't be trying to take that like they trying to, oh, you know what? They used to act like that. Yeah, man, because the virus won't always here. So it's like reading some of y'all posts that you think your man or woman is cheating on you because they're stopping you. It's like, you know what? Think twice. If not, I mean, take a look around.
Yeah, I
They're
mean,
not, they're not, don't think
it's
there's,
crazy.
it's called adapting your relationship to, as life goes on. And if you don't adapt your relationship to life, trust me, you're gonna get left way behind, and you're gonna be sitting there pointing the finger at everybody but your damn selves for not paying attention close enough. So it's like, y'all used to go out to the movies, 3-4 times a week. Guess what? I don't know any theater that's open right now, but that time you used to go out to the theater. I'll tell you what, get creative. Order you a daggum, what's that thing called? Overhead projector, and make the daggum theater at your house or something. You know what I mean? Get some Netflix, get a movie, get something, but don't be sitting there complaining about your spouse ain't taking you out no more. Or your
Right.
girl, your man. I mean, I don't know that many women that take their men out like that, but I mean, if your partner ain't taking you out the way they used to, you should know by now, by the common sense, it's because of the COVID and things going around, that he or she got enough love for your assets not to put you in danger. That's the way you should be looking at that mess, if you ask me. What do you think, Sam? Because that's
Yeah.
only
What was that last part you said though?
it's a safety rule for the thing. I say, to me, what do you think about a person, how they should handle that based on what's going on right now with these and this with this COVID?
I mean, people are. I mean, you have people. Some people are doing the right thing. Some people are not. I mean, you see and I get it. People try to make this Democrat, Republican, left, right, old, young, black, white thing. It's not. It's a virus. at the end of the day, and it exposes the inequities we have in our justice system, healthcare system, and the responses to those. But I mean, you're constantly seeing these crazy things like this party in California that it was a super spreader party, and
Yep.
158 people got arrested because it was like 500 people there. Underground party, then you have people like Gwen Stefani, celebrity artist, who
Yep.
doesn't want people to have masks at her wedding. That's crazy.
Illegal.
That's crazy. That's one of the places they're seeing that this thing is spreading more is weddings and churches.
Church. Oh man, there was a church here in Raleigh not too long ago, man. I think it had like about 300. No, it was like no, it was half of the 300 people who were there, and
Yeah.
they tried basing it on the square footage of the church and everything, and there was like 300 there, and more than half of them came back either positive or died. And I was like, what the hell were y'all thinking, man? I mean, I think you even kind of respond to it when you say, not even the Most High Creator, God Almighty, can save stupid. Because it was like, I mean, no, that's just, I mean, if you have church and have that many people, if with a capital I with a capital if your boat wants to go to church, make sure they have that mess outside. That if I ain't trying to go against you, not going
or
to
it could be
stay spiritual,
or
religious.
it could be virtual, man. Like
Yeah.
I've seen so many different virtual churches. Churches have had ceremonies on TV for years. So
Oh yeah.
why now are people forcing people during the pandemic? Not forcing, but
Even
even
asking.
thinking about having some
Yeah.
indoor service,
See, and for some reason, I'm not going to stay on religion that hard, man, because I can go in deep. But I mean, in religion, you have to don't forget common sense. That's all I'm gonna say. I'm gonna leave it at that. Don't forget there's common sense, and if your leadership, pastor, whoever it is, saying that he needs for you to tithe and offer and give, don't forget there's PayPal, there's that Cash App, there's a Venmo, there's so many ways you can still tithe, offer, and give if you want to. But don't sit here and be like, you have to be there to hear that drum, and so you can feel the Holy Spirit or something. That is, I understand. Oh, no, I mean, no, Sam, you know how they be doing, man.
You're gonna be
You
feeling
know exactly how.
you're gonna feel the Holy Spirit, all right.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a needle sticking in your arm when you need to get some fluids because you got COVID-19.
Yeah, and it's like one thing is, I mean, if it's like an example, going back to relationship, if your partner wants to go, but one of them doesn't, you can't take that personal. They kind of looking out for themselves of, they don't feel comfortable indoors. And you can't, and the one who wants to go, I mean, I would recommend, but if
Right.
you're going to go, stand outside if you can. But the one who doesn't want to go, don't use it against them because they're, again, they might be using some common sense why they ain't going to go. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, I mean, this COVID and relationships, it's done gone wild, man. It has gone hocus pocus out of control. And I'll tell you something else that's out of control is your boy, Don the Con Chump,
Uh-oh.
trying to get all these daggum votes in his favor. And he ain't gonna stop. He like a fool on crack, man. Talking about he won't stop until they all in his favor. I'm like, dude, you're lost. Accept it, get the hell out, pack your bags, see you later. Yeah, man.
Yes, it's crazy, man. It's crazy.
How many? I mean, he want to do revote. What was it? Was it Texas? I think Texas was. The people there were saying, or the government there was saying that they'll accept other states around them, not just around them, but they'll accept other states. If these other states get their votes and change them in Donald's favor, then they'll do the same. I'm like, what kind of mess was that, man? Hold on.
It's called treason, man.
Yeah, I'm like, no,
the reality is
what kind of mess? I mean, it's just like, what the hell is your thinking?
The
what the hell are
reality
y'all
is
thinking?
you have a coup going on in the United States right now, and it's a coup attempt to subvert our democracy and our republic, almost like Star Wars fashion. The Sith are now the GOP. They're the Sith trying to destroy the Republic and consolidate power under one
Mm-hmm.
Fuhrer. Their Fuhrer, who raises his hands like this, their Fuhrer is Little Donnie, the king of the motherfuckers. And
Mm-hmm.
they're trying to take over
The
by,
MAGA fathers.
they're trying to convince the Electoral College people that vote, represent the Electoral College in each state, to vote separately. Um, but the reality is the election has been certified. But now what they're trying to do is subvert that and say that, well, we'll secede from the United States, like they did during the Civil War. And it's like, good, go for it. Because if you look at the money that the government hands out and gives to each state, most of the states that receive the most money, meaning net money, meaning after you subtract the taxes that are paid from that state, are red states in the South.
Uncle Sam's part.
Red states
Mm-hmm.
in the South. They receive the most funding compared to the money they provide to the U.S. budget, federal budget, in taxes. Texas, Alabama,
Mm-hmm.
Mississippi, Florida, South Carolina, Tennessee, Kentucky. All these states receive all this money, billions in dollars from federal aid. So if I was the president, I'd say, you know what? You want to play that game? Because see, Joe Biden's too nice. And that was my
He is,
only
man.
that was my only
That's why he got.
problem.
That's
That
why
was
he
my
got Miss Harris,
only
though, man.
problem. That's my only problem with Biden was that people say, "Oh, we're returning to normal." No, we'll never return to normal. After you have a wannabe dictator in office, you have to punch him in the face. You don't treat the bully with kid gloves and pat him on the back. You knock their ass out. You got to come out swinging and say, "You know what?
You have to.
You want to leave the United States? Okay, cool. As of January 1st, as soon as January 20th, when I'm sworn into office and take office,
Yeah.
you will no longer receive funding. Oh, that 20 billion you got from us last year, Texas, gone. Cut it off. We're going to remove our
Mm-hmm.
troops from your state, close down your military bases there, and we'll move them elsewhere. I guarantee
And
you,
see, that's why.
call their bluff. I
That's
guarantee
why I
you
believe.
they'll cower.
That's why I believe Biden needs someone like Harris, man. Because Harris, she fights back hard. Now Biden don't fight back that hard, if you ask me. I don't think he fights back barely at all. He's a good president. I mean, he was vice president. He was there for good about 8 years, so he has an idea of what it takes. But that's why I think he needs someone like Harris to,
Yeah,
stir up the fire for him, because it's not in him. It's not his character. It's not who he is. And Harris, she said the demeanor during the debate they had first time.
yeah. I
I
hope
was
so,
like,
man.
hey,
I hope she has a very active role in this presidency, where some
you
other
should.
vice presidents have not had an active role. They just kind of sat on the sidelines and didn't do too much. But I hope she has an active role and participates and pushes for positive change in the country. And that's what people talk about. What you call it? People talk about change. But the definition of
Yep.
progressives and conservatives, let's break down that those terms. Conservative means to
Go ahead.
conserve and stay the same. Progressive means to progress, move forward,
Move forward.
change,
Mm-hmm.
evolution. Now I know some people get a little crazy when you talk about the word evolution, but the reality is we evolve.
Oh yeah.
We've evolved as human beings. We evolve in our thought process from the time where we are 1 year old to the time till we die, right? We're constantly learning. We're constantly changing. The people that call
Yep.
themselves these extreme conservatives or whatever you want to call yourself, they don't think things should change. They like the way things were 70 to 100 to 300 years ago. That's the way they want things. They want it where they have the advantages and there's no equality. They want it where they can do what
Yep.
they want to do. They can hang people from trees and hang people from bridges, and they want it where police can harass brown people and kill them, and there's no repercussion.
And there's no
That's what they
cost to
want.
fight for it.
That's the America they want back. That's the America they want to make great again.
That's their way of saying make America great again.
Exactly.
Nah, man.
That's what they want.
Now saying all MAGA stands for, this, man. All that MAGA stands for is make them assholes go away. That's all it stands for, man. On the real.
Oh,
You know it, man. But see, too many people, they didn't. I said that fool was in office for not just one reason, but for several reasons. And one reason he was there because it was to show us others' true colors. And I'm
Right.
always telling you and everyone else this. Others, people's true colors will show when you catch them off guard. But when will people be? When was America being caught off guard? It was being caught off guard whenever Don the Con Trump would go and make his stupid speeches like hell, and then his speech would be like, oh, okay, hit anybody you want, do whatever you want to, this gangster, this black, this whatever, and people would go out and do it. And he said, I'll bail you out, I'll do this, I'll cover you for that. And you saw a lot of people, a ton of people, not just people at his rally. You saw them all over the U.S. showing their true colors of doing what he influenced them to do. And it was like, okay, what were all them actions when Barack Obama was in the house? What were all them actions from Bill Clinton to Jeff Bush Jr. was on? What happened to all those actions then? There was nobody until Don the Con Trump came along who was influencing others to, like, you know what? Be whoever you want to be. Like you said, take it back to the to the old days, back in the 20s, 30s, 40s, and that's what some of them did. And it's like a so-called leader like that is nothing we need right now, by no means. Not to mention Biden got to spend it's probably going to take Biden 2 years to clean up all the shit, all the mess that Don the Con Trump put out here. The virus is the number one. But,
yeah, I mean, it's not going to happen.
It's
not going to happen in 4 years. I mean, hopefully they can get this virus under control in the next 2 years, and then they can spend the 2 years after that. Well, they need to spend this first year undoing a lot of the damage that's been done to this nation, especially the environmental damage. Help these farmers out to get affordable and real food out there, not all this GMO crap out here. And let's help the people that need it, like the evictions that's taking place right now. People being evicted from their homes all over the country because of COVID has caused the businesses to go under. We haven't seen the real recession yet. It's gonna happen in the next 6 months to a year. I hope people understand that, and it's not because of a Democrat in office. It's because of each time a Republican gets in office, they run saying what? Well, this guy 45 didn't, but usually Republicans say, or conservatives say, hey, we need to be fiscally responsible. We're going to try to balance the budget. We want to pay our bills. Did Bush do that? Hell no. They ran up the debt, ran up the deficit, and then a Democrat had to bail them out. Same with Bush's daddy. Daddy Bush ran up the debt. What did Clinton do? Clinton came in and raised taxes, but he raised taxes a little bit so that they could pay down the debt. And then guess what? There was a record low employment, and he was the first president in modern history to balance the budget. It was not a Republican, it was Clinton. I don't like Clinton for other things, but he balanced the budget.
Yeah.
And did it while
explain to them. Check it out, Sam. Explain to the people, man, how when a Republican leaves office, that does not mean that matter of fact, let me rewind it. When a Democrat leaves office and signs certain bills, that does not mean that the next person in office should get credit for what the Democrat was just in office for. For like the Obamacare. There was
I can say any political party, right?
It's like that with all presidents, though.
Right. It takes, like I told, I had the hardest time explaining.
It don't happen while they're there.
I had this hardest time explaining it to the people because they don't understand what the economy is. Very different than the stock market. The stock market is one thing.
Oh, yeah.
The economy is a completely different entity, and the economy has so many different moving pieces. Most people don't have a clue what the hell they're talking about. So they don't understand that the economy, once a president comes in, they try to implement their policies, right? So that first year, they're trying to implement their policies. Let's say they get passed in the second year or the first year. It takes 2 to 3 years, sometimes 4 years before your policies really start to take effect and display those effects on the economy. And so you saw that.
Do you say 3 to 4 days or 3 to 4 months?
3 to 4 years. And so that's why that's why you saw with President Obama, the plans they put in place, the changes they were making took 3 to 4 years. So when he was reelected, you saw those changes taking place, and that's why the deficit went down and the debt went down a little bit. I mean, the total deficit ended up going up. They started spending, but unemployment went down and the economy got better. The GDP rose, right? But now you look at what's going on now. They gave tax breaks to the rich, so it was an injection into the stock market, and it was an injection into an investment. well, sorry, investments meaning companies, but it was because the ultra rich were hoarding their money and buying more shares of stock, and it made the stock market artificially go up. Now you have seen some other companies that have benefited from this, but have the average person benefited from this? Maybe your 401k, if you have one, which most Americans do not. Maybe 13 to 14% of Americans have a 401k. Maybe that went up. Hey, maybe it went up 10%. Hey, great for you. But what about the other 80% of people that don't have one, and because they're not making enough money to be able to feed their children and save? It's that and save. Because I was like that. I was like that at one point in my life. I wasn't able to save and do those extra
Yeah,
things
and this
and invest. So everybody. It depends on your status and how much money you make in your individual situation. But we can say that the vast majority of American citizens are not benefiting from little 45's El Cheetah his policies.
you know, man. I mean, and you think about it, it's whoever's one thing that it showed me, man, just by letting Don the Con Trump in the House. One thing it showed me was, and hopefully it taught some of y'all some of the same things, was not allowing so-called people of power having so much authority, or having so much not those what I'm looking for, having so much having so much power over and having so much hope in them that you're expecting a big change in life that's more than likely not going to happen.
Correct.
My thing was, by him being in office, it should have showed many of you all how to be more independent of taking care of your own stuff, your own 401k, your own job, your family. I mean, because when you look at how many bills Obama had to sign, pass off on to bail out Bank of America, bail out GMC, bail out all these corporate American companies, and there were bills that he could have done better for those who are less fortunate. There were a lot of bills he did. I mean, he wanted, but the Republicans wouldn't pass them. They wouldn't sign off on them.
Yeah, they blocked
They
them.
wouldn't
Even
okay
even
it.
even the infrastructure bill. That's what I continue to tell people. The
Yeah.
infrastructure bill
Okay.
was
Infrastructure.
very
There it is.
important, and it was blocked for 8 years. It was blocked. They would not move on it because they did not want any positive job attributes or any positive numbers going toward President Obama. But um, I on a lighthearted note, we'll end that conversation there. But I wanted to talk about a few other things really quickly, just a few other things really quickly. Are you and your loved ones going to take more and more people we're seeing, the first vaccines are being given out in the UK.
Oh
Are
yeah.
this nation and the world, but particularly this nation, since we live here, has a history, particularly the state we're in. 7 or 8 years ago, this state paid out reparations to Black women who had been sterilized by the government on purpose so that they could
Y'all
not
hear
have
that?
children. So how many, there's a real distrust in the Black and Native communities of the government. And especially when it comes to vaccines, and you see it in other communities as well. There's an anti-vaccine movement with a lot of majority white people going on. But so what do you feel? How do you feel about that? Are you going to take the first round of vaccines? Do you urge other people around you
Hell
to do so?
no.
But why not?
Hell no.
Why not? Trust?
No, man. It's like I gotta see what it does to others, how it works, what it. I mean, I have to see the more detail than what I've heard and studied. I mean, because to me, from what I've seen and studied of the vaccine, it's not 1,000% what they made. It's not. It's not like the flu shot where it's gonna help, but it's gonna help prevent, but it's not gonna. It's not a good enough. There's not a track record behind it for me to have enough faith in it. It's gonna do what they say it's gonna do. It's
So
just
you
not.
want to see
I
the
gotta.
results first before you commit to taking the vaccine. That's what you're saying.
There you go. There you go.
That's valid. I've heard that from several people.
It's
We
like
know.
you have to now see if your partner wants to take a gamble but you don't want to. I mean that's one thing. I mean to each his own. But as a family is different than just two people who being committed because commitment is not really one yet.
Right.
But if you have a family and you got someone who's like you, Sam, or whoever else, like the head of the household, and they're like, no, but but then you got a spouse like, well, my best friend's this, my boss says that. I'm like, well, you know what? Normally, I would just say, listen to the man of the household
Oh,
if that's the way y'all live.
Oh, yes. Here
I
you
mean, that's
go.
the way y'all live. No, I mean, I would, because it's like some men might be like, hey, go ahead, why not? But then some fellas like, you know what? Not now. Let's be patient
I
and
mean,
worry about
I
it.
think
But
people that are in the extreme high risk groups, um, I just urge people to follow the CDC recommendations, but also use your brain, right? You wouldn't eat some brand new vegetable that somebody discovered or somebody created without seeing some of the side effects. We buy food, we look at the back. You get if you had cancer, maybe if you're in a desperate situation, you go for experimental treatments and things like that. But usually people look at the side effects when they are going for things. So I treat vaccines the same way. The first round, they're really not going to know the side effects for a couple months. They need to be able to document those and then present those to people and say, okay, well, and I want it broken down by race. I want it broken down by age and gender
blood
and what
pressure, all that
blood,
stuff.
yeah, blood pressure. What pre-existing conditions did these people have? Did they have asthma? Did they have high blood pressure? Did they have
The
diabetes?
sickness, the sickness or illness, attached to it.
Exactly. And
How
did
many
they
medications were they on? All that stuff.
how did it work on them? So that's what I want to see. I want to see, how did it work on people that have asthma? How did it work on people that have high blood pressure or food allergies
We
or
should ask. We
whatever?
should ask. Franklin. You know what? We should ask Hassan and see what he say, man.
No,
Him and
he's
all his
not.
boys.
I don't think his company's working on that. Maybe we'll talk to him this
Nah,
weekend. We can grab a
we
adult
should.
beverage. We can grab an adult beverage this weekend and outside, socially
Hey,
distancing
yeah, outside.
before
It's gonna be like
before
60,
10 before
62 to
before
60.
10 p.m. before 10 p.m. in the city of Raleigh.
There, yeah, I mean, it's supposed to be like a 62 to 64 degrees these next couple of days, man. If I remember correctly,
That's good for me.
it should be
That's perfect.
it should be nice. It's gonna be like that until like around 5:36. But
So
yeah,
the sun
but
goes down. Yeah,
to me, I'm not one who's going to try all these new vaccines just to see be somebody's guinea pig for no reason. But for those of you all who feel like, you know what, you're tested positive and you feel like, doctor tell you got 5 days to live or something else like that. If you want to, I
well,
guess
I don't know
try,
that
but
I
I
don't
would
know it,
recommend.
it, it can't help them then because they have it already. But for people that are
Yeah,
maybe they feel I think people that, like, if you're a healthcare worker, right? Maybe a nurse, doctor,
yeah.
a paramedic, these people that work on the front lines, police officers, firefighters,
Mm-hmm.
maybe they do need to get it because they come in contact with a lot of different people, and maybe they're at higher risk and people that work at grocery stores or any retail location, because that's why you see the numbers in the Raleigh metro area in Durham, Chapel Hill. You see that black people are disproportionately affected because people of color typically work middle class jobs, or the working class jobs, as I call them, working a lot of
Mm-hmm.
retail, right? So they're interfacing with customers and people, the public, a lot more than, let's say, you or I, or
Yeah.
some of our friends, where we can work from home, and we
Mm-hmm.
have that luxury. So we're blessed in this, and I'm thankful every day that I don't have to go out like I did at one point in my life and interface with the public as much as I do right now. I'm an extrovert, you and I both. So we're used to being out talking to people and hanging out and playing chess in the city, in the park, doing this, doing that, doing
Chit
these
chat.
things.
Going to the sports bar to grab a drink, look at the game, and look at a
Yeah.
fight or whatever. And
Speak
it's
of
it's
game,
time. Huh?
I said,
Yeah.
speak of game. I heard that the Tar Heels are
All
not
Heelys.
they're not playing Elon this weekend. Um, so Central, NCC, decided to step up to the plate and is going to play them at basketball at 2 p.m. in Chapel Hill, the Dean Dome. I'm not going to go to the Dean Dome. That's a little bit too much for me inside with COVID going on,
Hell, nah.
but I will be watching it on TV, to
Just
root
give me
for
the
my
remote
Eagles.
control, man.
This is the one time
Remote control. That's all I need.
this is one of the rare times I root against the Tar Heels, but This is the rare exception, but I will be doing that this weekend. So
You rooting for the you rooting for the Eagles, ain't you?
Eagle Pride, baby, all day. Throw it up, throw it
Uh-huh.
up.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Throw them up, throw them up, throw it up. Go ahead, Franklin. Go ahead. Yeah, huh? They know what it is. They know what it is.
But yeah, so we like to but guys, on in all seriousness, take the virus serious. It's getting worse day by day, it seems. Especially in the thing we don't want to get to is the point where we're starting to see it in Durham, Durham County, Orange County, in Greensboro, Guilford County, and Moore County, a few other counties where the hospital beds are starting to fill up and the ICU beds are starting to fill up. And you don't want it to get to the point where there's no bed. And now what are they doing? Now they're having to make a choice and say, oh, well, you're young, we will help you. Oh, you're over 50, we can't help you. They're just going to give you some Tylenol and send your ass home. And now you might die.
Mm-hmm.
Stay home, people, if you can. Think about your family, think about others. You can, like Bruce said, you can attend your church service virtually. If you can't attend your church service, find any church. Just find one. If it's that important to you, find that. If you can work from home,
If
work
you
from
can't
home.
find no if you can't find no church, go ahead and go to YouTube and pull up an old pastor on YouTube and
Exactly.
get the Holy Spirit that kind of way or some kind of way. Because I know some people out there feel like some people feel like they have to have the word every Sunday just for the empowerment to get ready for the rest of the week or something. However, with this COVID-19 going on the way it is and spreading the way it is, if saying, what, tell them what a few of the symptoms are as far as, head pain, body pain, having to go to the bathroom, more than the average amount of time.
Some of the
Cramps, I hear is
symptoms.
one of them.
So so here's the key thing, and this is what people need to understand. I've been trying to explain it
Temperature.
to people. So yeah, some of those symptoms are temperatures, loss of taste and smell, body aches, fever, um, you know, not being able to hold
Sneezing
food
and
down.
coughing a lot.
Yeah, any breathing difficulty, breathing, wheezing, and some of those things can be attributed to regular colds and things like that. But get checked out
Well,
if
this
you have
weather.
any of those things. Another key thing.
And
This is the
also
key thing that I know we're over time,
temperature.
but this is the key piece to
Yeah.
stopping COVID that people don't understand. The symptoms of COVID don't show for 6 to 7 to 8 days. So I could be at Bruce's house right now. Let's say Bruce has COVID. Bruce doesn't know he has COVID. Maybe he got exposed yesterday. Bruce can be fine for 5 to 6 days and show zero symptoms. But then on the sixth day, he starts to be contagious. So now I go see Bruce. We're in the same house. We got a mask on, but maybe Bruce had coughed on his hand and touched his doorknob. And I touched the doorknob and didn't wash my hands and touch my eye, did something like that, touch my face. Now I have COVID. But guess what? Bruce doesn't start to show symptoms for 2 days from now, 3 days from now. So then I'm like, okay, oh man, Bruce has got COVID. Oh, well, maybe I was at Bruce's house 3 days ago. But guess what? In those 3 days, I could have gone to the grocery store. I could have gone here. I could have done this. I could have, exposed my family. In that meantime, I've exposed more people. And that's how COVID is working and how it's hard to trace and why it's moving so rapidly and growing is because it's not like the flu. When you have the flu, you know it within a couple of days. And within those couple of days, you have full symptoms of the flu. And you have the flu. There's no
Yep.
question about it. But with COVID-19, you can be exposed and not show symptoms for 7 to 8 days. And in the meantime, you've exposed who knows how many people to it. And so that's why this virus is so crazy.
And that's why it's good if y'all can, use the wipes, hand sanitizer, everything. If you don't have any, if you can't find any when it wipes like that, just go ahead and get some bleach, get some water, put it in a spray bottle, and find you some toilet paper or some kind of tissue and wipe behind yourself or whoever comes around you from outside, like that. And I mean, it's your house, your apartment, wherever you staying, wipe behind you, regardless of who it is, even
And
yourself. Doorknobs, handles to the going to the stairway. Small things like the daggum handles to your microwave to your oven to your refrigerator, because it's crazy, man.
And we're just getting late breaking news here.
What's that?
Debo from Friday.
Oh,
He just died today, man.
what? Lord
They're
no, man.
saying they're saying heart or something related, but I mean we can't rule out COVID. I mean he could have had COVID and that put stress on his heart, and that's
Mm,
why he died. So I think the death and the numbers are really higher than what they say because you don't know. I mean, there's all these things that people are saying, oh, well, they died of this, they died of that. How do we know that? Did that person get tested for COVID? And do they know that that person had COVID first
mm.
um, before they had a heart attack or before this? So, I mean, it's just crazy, man. We've lost so many
What's his
people
real
this
name?
year. I forgot his real name. I'd have to look it up real quick, but
Let me see.
yeah, I guess we should honor him by saying his real name. Um, let's see, Tom Lister. Tom Lister. Rest in peace, Tom.
Yep,
To
Tom
all the
Listen
others that have
Jr.
passed away this year from this horrible virus
Tom Listen Jr.
and this crazy situation. In man, we just prayers to the families
AKA
and
Zeus
Pop. Two
from
people, Pops,
WWE.
Pops and Debo died from Friday this year. It's crazy, man. But anyway, hey, we
Mm-hmm.
want to thank you guys for tuning in to another great, wonderful conversation with the Chaos Conversation, guys. Uh,
On
we're gonna
72.9 The Voice.
There you go. We're gonna keep it coming direct. As we always do, we try to keep you guys abreast of everything going on and try to reach out at least once a week. But sometimes we have issues with, of course, with COVID going on. We're not in the studio, and sometimes we have a hard time getting our feeds to the studio if they have things going on. So or out of town and other stuff due to COVID. So um, just be safe out there. We're going to do our best to be safe, and we can't wait to return to the studio to get back in and live stream from there instead of us being in our homes. But it may be a while, so at least 6 months or so, they're saying. So, hey, until
Oh,
then,
yeah.
be safe. We'll talk to you guys next week for our, I guess, final show before the holidays, right? Um,
Oh, yeah.
People start disappearing right before the holidays. But hey, maybe we'll make a surprise. Maybe we'll do a surprise New Year's Eve show. Maybe we'll see. We'll see. Maybe we'll do something before. It'll be good to do a little something before New Year's, Bruce. So we'll see what we can hook up.
Oh,
I'm on.
yeah.
We're
We'll
both on
keep y'all
vacation.
posted.
We're both on vacation, so we'll try to hook it up.
We'll keep y'all posted.
There you go. Hey, until next time, Sam and Bruce, Chaos Conversation 72.9 The Voice. We'll see you guys next time.
Peace.